Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. We're talking about risk in retirement this morning, but this also has to do with risk in preparing for retirement, okay? And we're going over, just before the break, I was showing the Retirement Income Challenge, and I'm going over some key dates. And this goes when whether you're planning for retirement or you're heading in, getting close to these ages, it's important for you to know the importance of these dates before you get there, right? So when you're doing your planning, you're knowing, well, this is what I'm, if I'm planning on retiring possibly in my mid-50s, it'd be important for me to know about that rule, about that 10% penalty, right? Because someone might come in, and what's the most common thing you hear? When you retire from your employer, you should move your 401k into your IRA. Well, it depends on your age, and there are some other factors there, and as I mentioned, one of them being if you're going to need income from that money or some amount of cash, then the planning is going to be a little more complex, okay? You're going to be looking at maybe taking that money out, and you want to avoid that 10% penalty, so maybe you leave some money in. Granted, you're going to have more investment options once you move it out, and there are some other potential advantages to it, but it's not just a cut and dried, always one way type of thing. It depends on your individual situation. So there's one. Okay, we talked about age 66 being full retirement age. Here's one I kind of missed over a little bit, age 65. Age 65 is when you first qualify for Medicare. Now, depending on whether you're still working as to what the choices are going to be there, all right? And we're going to get into, in depth, more about Medicare. It's one of the most complex decisions you're going to have to make in retirement, and it's going to be one of the biggest decisions because healthcare costs are projected to be, for an average couple age 65, to be close to $300,000. That's your out-of-pocket cost, okay? That's after what Medicare covers. That's even including having a Medicare supplement plan, okay? That hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this is so critical because the right choices can save you many, many tens of thousands of dollars, reduce that cost possibly in half, maybe even less. And the longer ahead you plan for it, the more you can impact that cost in a positive way. In other words, you can reduce those costs, and that's what we do. That's what I do with my clients all the time. All right, so this is one of the areas. Age 65 again. Now, what's the next one? Age 70. At this point, you've maxed out Social Security. In other words, if you have delayed taking Social Security benefits because you want to get the maximum payment you can from your Social Security benefits, age 70 is when that happens. There's no reason to delay beyond that. There are no benefits to be had. Money's just like, you might as well bury it in a mattress, right? Start taking your money by age 70. And we're going to talk about the different reasons for possibly delaying for some and whether taken early for others. And then age 70 and a half, that's the age at which you have to now start taking money out of your retirement accounts, okay? That's what's called required minimum distributions. The IRS has allowed you to defer taxes, okay, on the money that you have put in. You didn't pay tax on it up front. You put it in there to save it. Now they want you to, they're going to make you start taking money out so that they can get the taxes on that money. Now, what's important to know also, at that age 55 and at age 59 and a half, those two key ages, that 10% tax penalty that we want to avoid by knowing the importance of those ages, well, it's even more important at age 70 and a half because it's a 50% penalty if you don't take out that required minimum distribution. So it's critically important. And what we do when we're doing income planning and retirement, of course, we always factor in the required minimum distributions. And we get into things talking about ways possibly to reduce that, okay, whether it's through tax planning, whether it's through Roth conversions, things like that that can help you with regard to those required minimum distributions and reducing taxes, because that's another key area as far as risk in retirement. Okay, so let's talk about Social Security a little bit more. One of the things that we have, if you look at the next slide we're going to put up, this is the Retirement Income Challenge and has to do with the difficulty that we all face. All right, those things are, one, asset and product allocation. This has to do with growth. We need our money to grow, right? We talked about inflation and taxes. Well, we need our money to grow to stay ahead. And that's the challenge that we face. How do we do that and yet minimize risk in the process? Another challenge, income. When we're taking, in retirement, we have to now start taking income from those monies. We're going to need that to supplement our retirement. We're going to have, maybe we have, again, we are going to have Social Security. Maybe we're going to have a pension. Maybe we have other forms kinds of income. Maybe you have rental properties as an example. But whatever it is, the next part, the biggest thing that a lot rely on statistically is that, besides Social Security, is that, of course, of how much we've been able to save, our retirement accounts. So when we're taking income from them, one of the key factors is not only do I need enough income to supplement, to basically maintain my standard of living and quality of life, but I need to make sure I minimize taxes, don't I? And I want to minimize risk because I don't want to run out of money. I need that income. If you think about it, what's more important? Building up a lot of assets or building up something that's going to be guaranteed income for life? All right? A lot of people build up assets and then go broke, run out of money. And then where are they? Okay? Now they're dependent upon Social Security main. And that makes it really, they may have to greatly reduce that standard of living or quality of life. Okay, so one of the key areas here is that income is probably one of the biggest factors for happiness in retirement. In fact, it is the biggest factor. There have been studies, in fact, to even show that this research shows us that people are happier that have that guaranteed income for life that covers their needs as far as standard of living and quality of life. Those are the folks that have the most peace of mind, and those are the people we talk about. When we're talking about financial freedom in retirement, that's financial freedom in retirement. When you have guaranteed income, it says, I don't have to worry, I'm never going to run out of money, I'm going to be covered. Okay, risk management is the other part. If I'm going to do that, how do I protect those assets as well? How do I make sure I don't lose my money? Because one of the biggest fears that people have in retirement is running out of money. It is one of the three major fears, in fact, that people have. And this goes back to, how do I make sure this doesn't happen? Well, one of them, it starts with that Social Security decision. All right, do you have someone you're seeing right now to help you with these kinds of decisions? Because this is one of the things we do each and every week, all right? I talk to you about it here, but in my office each and every day, I also work with people to help them with that. So here's what I'm going to do for the first 10 callers today to my office. Debbie's standing by to take your calls. The number is 615-376-5325. We're going to offer up a free retirement income analysis. And with that, what we're going to do is we're going to help you with that decision about Social Security. In 2012, over 37% of men and 42% of women took their benefits at age 62 rather, permanently reducing their benefits. Okay? Now, for some, that may have been the right choice, but for many, it may have been the absolute wrong choice. One of the things I do is I work with clients to determine what is the best choice in their situation, and we ask them the key questions and take down their key information to find that out. So when you call the office, Debbie will get your information. She'll send you out a little checklist of things to bring to the appointment, and we're going to do a plan for you. This isn't just a free consultation where you get in, you come in, and you talk to me for an hour, and you go away with, maybe you got a few questions answered, but what real value is that? I'm talking about a full-blown free retirement income analysis. That means a financial plan, okay, a foundational plan. We're going to go over everything with you. Typically, I charge $500 to $1,500, and on some cases where we've got higher assets and stuff, that could be even $3,000 to $5,000. So one of the things we're going to get into, free retirement plan, that's what we're talking about. She'll get your information, she'll send you out a checklist, and she'll send you a copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. If you go through the book, you'll see a lot of the things we're going to cover, but we're going to help you develop your own personalized plan for retirement. All right? So, here's some questions to ask yourself. What is your current health and expected longevity? This is one of the things when we get into Social Security, whether we should take our money out at 62 or 66 or 70. So what do you know? At 62, that's the soonest you can take it, but it's also when you get the least amount. And if you're continuing to work, it's for about every 15,000 give or take that you make over, 15,000 for every dollar you make over, $2 you make over, you get back $1 of your Social Security. So we tell people normally just rule of thumb. If you're going to work past 62, don't take Social Security until later, age 66 ideally, or when you are fully retired would be the earliest you would even consider it. Now, we do a side-by-side comparison for people. We show, here's your 62 age, here's 66. We're going to run it both ways so you can see in advance what that decision amounts to. And what is it going to show us? It's going to show us the effect on your retirement capital. So when we look at your capital, what's going to happen is it's going to show At age 62, if I take here, how much money will I have in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years down the road? And if I wait till 66, how much would I have? Or even if I wait till age 70, how much would I have 10, 15, 20 years down the road? And we're going to be able to show you at what point that decision reaches like a break even. Usually say in your late 70s as an example, then it's equal. Whether I took it 66 or 62, 62 or 66, either one, it makes about the same. But if I live much beyond that, and what did we say? The average for every 65-year-old is expected to live at least 5 to 7 years beyond that time, then they would benefit by waiting. All right? And here's another. There are other key factors that come into this. For instance, if you're married, all right, delaying that retirement means more money potentially for your spouse, because this is one of the areas you have to also consider, is that when the first of you dies, the survivor gets the higher check of the two Social Security checks. One goes away, the higher one goes to the spouse. This comes into play again. Well, which one should I do? That could be a big factor as well. So when you're looking at Social Security and when to take it, there are a lot of questions that you have to ask yourself, including what other savings and investments. Do you have the option to be able to delay? For some, maybe their choices aren't so easy. Okay, they don't have enough money to cover it. Are you going to continue to work? As I mentioned, is a key factor. What kind of taxable income are you going to have in retirement? So there's so many different factors that we get into to help you decide what is the best choice. And believe me, it's huge. You're talking tens of thousands of dollars more in your pocket, possibly even hundreds of thousands, by making the right choice. And it means it could cost you that much if you make the wrong choice. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.